Julian Huppert, who is one of those who's under real pressure, of course, because the Liberal Democrats are being held responsible by the students for this coalition government policy on these grants on tuition fees. Let's speak about the demonstration, though, first of all. You weren't very happy about it, Mr. Huppert. What was the trouble?
Well, we've already seen with what happened with the G20 and the death of Ian Tomlinson, some of the problems that can come from this kettling tactic. I think what we just heard from Holly gave a really good example. Why do we want to take an 18-year-old who, as she just said, didn't like the violence, didn't want to be part of that, and hold her for 6 hours in such awful conditions?
How else do you've got a huge crowd, some of whom are intent on breaking up Conservative Central Office or wherever, or indeed raiding your own party headquarters. You've got to stop them doing it, haven't you? You can't just let them roam where they will, or you will indeed, you'll be on the line saying this is disgraceful, the police haven't protected my party headquarters.
Well, the police obviously have a tough job, and there's clearly a balance for them to find. They have a whole range of possible tactics to use. And I think clearly we don't want to see what happened 2 weeks ago with the smashing up of Millbank. But equally, when we get to the stage where we are detaining school children in particular for hours and hours and hours without any sort of provision,
well, nobody
that
died
clearly
or
is
anything,
not a
did they?
proportionate response to what's going on.
Well, from what I've seen these things a few times, people get a bit fed up and they get frustrated and they need a wee and they wish they hadn't come in the first place. But in a way, that's probably what the police are trying to do.
Well, if the aim of the police is to stop people from having peaceful protests, then I have a real problem with that.
Okay, so you would say...
While I may not support everything that everybody protests on, and they happen all the time, the fact is that we should encourage and allow peaceful protest. It's a very important part of our democratic system.
So you would say to the police, stop doing that, let them walk where they will?
I don't think it's as simple as walk where you will or kettle. What I'm saying is that we need a system which is not so disproportionate.
OK, you haven't got any more defined ideas than that, just you don't like what's happening at the moment?
There's a whole lot of things, but I think the correct way to work this out is to do a serious review, and that's why earlier today I both wrote to the Home Secretary and raised it in the House of Commons, asking if she will come up with a review so that we can avoid the use of kettling. I don't think the police want anybody to say, I've got the answer magically suddenly now.
Is this in any way a result of the pressure you're under personally that, over tuition fees? And are you trying to persuade these students actually you're on their side?
Well, I've been a campaigner against tuition fees my whole political life in some ways. I was a student when Labour brought them in, having promised not to, and I don't support them now. So in that sense, it's different. But I also opposed kettling when it happened. I was very concerned with G20 and the other events, the death of Ian Tomlinson, and that is entirely independent.
Righto. Are you going to vote against tuition fees now?
I will, yes.
OK, thank you very much indeed. That's Julian Huppert.